Welcome to this space. Welcome to this space. There was a question. I offered to share some guidance if you have a specific question and you want to post it in the comments, or you can also reach out and then I will send you a link to Vox. Is it Vox? Um, it's basically a communicator where you can send a voice message. Um, and there was a question, and I want to answer because that's basically general question that will serve so many of people. And it was a question that basically about if the soul guidance is, how do I know if the promptings or whispers are the soul guidance, or is it like impersonation of the mind, which is a fair question. And whoa, yeah, what comes to me directly, which is gonna be like the key point to this, is two key points. And let me start from the cool one, and then we're gonna put it further on in chunks. So the first one is that regarding like, first of all, if you are afraid of something, or you are trying to force something, or you are believing you need to be somewhere there, oftentimes it's because it's not, you don't it's you're not connected in you're not connected with that in you, if that makes sense. Or it's not in you, or it comes from some past sorrow, difficulty, or lack. And that's already like untruth. So that's kind of like the journey of going through those layers of discovering this untruth and looking, oh wow, I had this journey, 222 on the clock when I'm saying that. I had this journey um in this life, and this is what I've been experiencing. This kicked my ass so much. This was so much suffering that first we're so attached to it and identify with that, and it's like a far stretch to actually realize like that it's a part of this experiences of this life. That is actually, because it's pressing so hard one way, it's leading you to discover the opposite of it. So it's leading you to pay attention to it, to focus or to ask question or to notice it, because you don't have a choice. It's an issue or a struggle, and it keeps coming back, and it just like pressing it. So it becomes very obvious there is, you need to look there. Whatever you're going to do with that, you need to look there, or you are constantly facing it, basically. Not only one thing, it might be more. But what I'm trying to say, that then from that point, oftentimes when we really, really, really want something, and that's great because that's how my journey was. I really, really didn't fit into normal work and stuff. So I've been seeking who I am in general, but I'm not fitting in. I'm seeking who I am, or why is this like this? Or what am I here to be doing? Why am I not fitting in any almost like fixed way of living life or working life? Um, and the part of the journey, I'm saying this as an example because it was exactly that I really, really wanted to get there, for quite some years. And that's also great because it was actually, I mean, it wasn't that great. It was tough, but it was actually also leading me through those layers. And what I'm trying as well to say is that thing, when you are trying to connect with the guidance, um, and you are worried that might be the mind coming in, what I was describing is motivation, actually. So when the mind would be kicking in and it wouldn't be your soul guidance, it might be the case that it's because there is so much lack there, and there is inside, it feels so far away, or it's so much pain inside, or lack, that you so much want to force that answer or force that result, or um, and then it might be that you are kind of having mind jumping on board of trying to also navigate, you know, and then it's actually the mind intervening, or the mind trying to give you answers. So that's a funky second part of the answer. And okay, and what I just described it before, it's not a bad thing. First of all, you are learning to connect with yourself, which is the first point. Learning to connect with yourself, and you are starting to see the differences. But even you are like going after that, mind would come in a little bit like the soul guidance, but then a bit of the mind choices. But still, you are learning to notice, because life responds, because you do certain thing and you feel something is off. So like this, you are learning what is the mind. And even though if it would be guidance, that would be kind of mind coming on board and mind more answering you, or guiding you, more than the higher self or like the soul level, it's still, it might be not for no reason. So that's a kind of good news, because um, because maybe, and that was my, I'm telling you from like a guidance, because normally I have this flow of my connection coming through, giving the messages, but I'm also saying from my own experience. So that would be things that on my on some level, yeah, my soul could guide me otherwise if I was like following and already ready to trust the following, because that's another point, trust the following of my soul. um I could go other way, but mm, maybe for a while I was forcing some things, and that was more from my mind and from my inner lack or need of something. mm, and I followed, let's say, the mind. It was still serving the soul purpose, if that makes sense, and that's a good news. I'm not sure if I'm actually answering like how to recognize it, but I'm just telling you it's important aspect of this question. um so long story short, as long as you are trying to learn or connecting to your body, senses, mind, heart, uh, intuition, energy, um, and then this is the aspects how your soul is emanating through this life. So these are the ways how your soul experience here. So if you're connecting with a very important body, and connecting with yourself, so finding the time to do that, and you walk this journey, good news is, regardless if there will be mind prompting you or giving you more hints, it's still probably the soul navigating that journey. So long story short, because in my experience I was guided through, and I asked myself, there was a post about this once, I asked myself, like, why did I then, if I trusted and I follow, and I was I was following my guidance, my soul, my connection, why did I go through this burnout and hardship and isolation and all this, not once, not twice. And I got this information from my soul. Literally, the sentences they came to me, and I was like, the information were coming. This was probably the fastest way for my life path and my journey, because it I can feel this when I'm saying that. I have like shivers. The wave of energy, um, because um, there was this. Imagine in my energy field, there were this like encoded or registered energies, or just the energies in my in me, from all parts of lifetimes experiences, this life, etc., and ancestors and stuff, and carrying over things that are not mine, and so on and so forth. And uh, like, this was the fastest way, and it was still my soul guidance, but then my mind was actually kind of keep trying to force something, and I would be following that, thinking like, yeah, I'm trusting the soul guidance, and why that it's not, it's not happening. But in the end, this was like the fastest way to bring me to such an like experiences, and kind of hard, difficult, emotional, or and difficult energies, difficult emotions, difficult situation, so I could touch this part of like this, vibrating like that energies. I could touch it quicker, because imagine that I would be following guidance, and it would be just like pop 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 pop, or I would just like touch a little bit, but then I would go off, and the life would be like nicely going, and things would be coming. Imagine that you wouldn't be able, necessarily. I mean, there's endless solutions, but in this case, this is what came to me. I would be like you would be like going to life, and finding like escapes from facing yourself, and like, yeah, it's not that bad, so you find some solution, it's not that bad, so you're not touching so deeply your pain, or your sorrow, or your suffering, or memories, or whatever, or the energies in you, the emotions, the experiences. So you would be just like, yeah, fine, and then you would have like, you would touch it a bit, but you would could never go so deep, actually, kind of so down in a sense. So you would touch it on the surface, and then imagine if there would be like a lot of these things that were there to be cleared. um, Imagine that you would just all the time come to the surface, and then, yeah, life found solution, oh yeah, I sorted out, and again, I'm touching it, but no, I'm not going too deep, because I don't have to, because I have things kind of going on. I'm not maybe I'm not exactly where I want to be, but yeah, I'm fine. So it would be constant, like touching a bit. And at that time, it would be for shorter amount of time, seemed at that time long, but in a perspective of lifetime. And then you go so down that you're able to uh, meet that part deeper, and basically face it or clear it, and not just touch certain surfaces. And imagine that if you're touching surfaces, imagine how long it takes for you to actually go to that deeper level. Maybe actually never, and oftentimes, probably, I assume that it happens that then, yeah, there are people that have this boom crash, and it's like a hardcore crash, and then they are able to go and touch it. But yeah, I guess uh, we all have our own journey, so all the versions of it, or wherever you are, or whatever you are experiencing, it's exactly how it's meant to be going. Okay, so that was a bit I was diversing from the mind and the soul guidance. So yeah, coming back to that point, it's always for uh, it's always in his wisdom going the right way, and that's how I can come to you and tell you you can trust it, however it seems unreal or impossible or you don't understand it, you can trust it. And point number one, which was this, that while you are maybe still choosing the mind less than the soul guidance, you are learning to connect, right? And you're learning of the you're learning to pick up the guidance through experiencing it, through testing it. And how you test it? Exactly like that, because you made this choice and you made that choice, and then you see, sooner or later you see the results. You connect, you connect, you connect, you connect, you come back, you find time through your own outlet, through your own way, uh, with you connect with the body, you connect with your senses, you connect through, you can see your stories and beliefs that are in you, but basically you find the time to connect, you find the tools, you work through whatever, like a nervous system, body, grounding, and the most important, that yeah, you also know what is the your way, the best way. And it's also, it's not one thing, it can be all together, maybe because you went through a traditional path, like traditional way of therapy or something, and then you were experiencing breath work, and then something you are already able to connect a bit better, because that kind of open your, release some stuff from your body, so you can hear your body, you can hear yourself more through your body. So the connection with your body, and also doing some probably energy work to ground it in your physical body, is the answer. Because how do you experience this reality? Then through the body. The body is your sensory um, decoder of the reality. So if you want to decode something that is beyond your body, but it's like it's based in your body, or like it's reading this reality by being embodied, uh, how you want to strengthen the signal of reading that, if that makes sense, through more embodiment, through more connection with not the mind, blah, 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 mental body, blah, 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 talking just through the mind, fixing things through the mind, using tools through the mind, but more through any practice that will help you to listen to how you feel physically, and how and any meditation or breath work or tuning in or nature that will allow you to see in what way you are receiving the most information, so then it can be strengthened. And also energy work, when somebody is already connected, also helps you to tune into your own connection. That's how it works. And um, also, like, it's also through the body, because if you have a lot of trauma in your physical form, you are most of the time you are in some kind of mechanisms, and disconnection. So then it's kind of hard to be like, yeah, yeah, I my my senses are expanded and I'm tuning in and I'm picking up my guidance like very clearly and all this. So because it's like cut, a lot of people are in the head and it's cut. There's, you're not there, you're not in the body, so you cannot have the senses expanded or that active. mm, and third point, I have more points. It's also the loving, if you turn to yourself also through love, because any forms of forcing, that's not really the language of your soul guidance. Anything that you really really force, and you actually want to force some outcome, so you want to hear the soul's answer, it's not really the soul answer. It's going to be most likely what I explained before, the mind, because the guidance comes often when we when we let it go, and when we tune into ourselves, and that's, you are in the space of love. So when you are finding the ways to also express it, so maybe the dancing or forest or something, it brings you back to your senses more. Of course, meditation guided energy work, when somebody's guiding you and helping you to, uh, like also what I do, bring you the messages, bring you the connection, connect you to this stream of a flow of, yeah, of a higher connection. You can learn by that also expanded, in my experience, um, that expanded my connection, because I was literally like learning. I was learning to read how I'm picking up, and meditation is a great start. That I have the images coming, or I started to feel in my body clearly that this is where it is, this is where it is. I started to have words coming to me. I had this knowing, um, but it all comes in love and lightness, and allowing and openness. So you can be sure that each time it's not the case. So it's out of being constrained, uh, stress in mind, forcing something out of lack, out of fear. That's most likely, then it's hard for the soul guidance and connection to come through. And that brings me also to the society that is based on doing and based on productivity, and that's pretty, and being in the mind, in the head all the time. So anything that will get you out of the head and allow you to feel, allow you to be yourself, allow you to feel love, express it, stay in stillness, um, and work through emotion first. If you try to find like answers through the fear or constraint or forceful, try to first look why is this happening, why is this happening, like what's going on right now, what am I actually need, why am I needing this, why am I needing to know this, what is the motive for me to know this, what is the motive for my question to for guidance, what do I want to get out of, if you feel already stressed and you need the answers. And rather answer yourself, how can you open up? And most likely it will be first through like allowing yourself to feel whatever is happening, so to feel the emotions. And then when that clears and you probably have a moment of letting go, then will be like intuition coming, the inspiration coming, the people talking to you and bringing you some inspiration, or you will just have enough space and lightness so you can like sit and breathe, and then you will have naturally things coming to you. But it doesn't mean that you have to make yourself um, to work with this like clair sentient thing. uh yeah. mm, and then it only needs to come to you with images and stuff. The guidance can be also when you, yeah, like simply connect with your heart, take a time to put yourself and love yourself first, put yourself as a priority, make yourself room. Easier said than done when things are happening, I know. But in the end, it can be very crooked. Like it can be very shitty. You can just like, oh, well, I'll do things and then just find 10 minutes and it's not perfect. Great. It's still going to do the job if you keep coming back to yourself. And then from that place, you can also paint, draw and paint. And from that place, you can also just like set intention that you would like to ask for the direction, and you're asking for your spirit guides, part of your soul, or the guidance whispers, and you're open to it, and you also leave it. And instead of trying to force, maybe because I don't know where you are at the moment, um, so I don't know what is your, like, if you did some meditations and you were able to pick up some feelings or some images. So I don't know where you're at, so I'm speaking really generally. um, so if nothing comes through as like feeling, knowing, this intuitive nudges, because they also happen more in the flow. So again, openness, heart space, love, lightness. Well, maybe not that lightness, but just like open hearted, and allowing everything as it is at this moment. Imagine you don't need to control it, you don't need to manage it, you don't need to know all the answers. Allowing things to be as they are. And you don't have these images, you can't get these images, you can't get the feeling, you can't get the notion, like it's not working, you don't know still. Yeah, let it go and set intention. It's one of the greatest things. We think that we are like isolated from everything outside of us, or that nothing happens beyond our body. Everything happens beyond our body. So set intention for the guidance and allow the life and world and people bring you the answers. Yeah, and another thing comes to mind. It's a brilliant topic. Maybe I can do a meditation like that as well, or like a connection like this. But any connection that I am also sharing, it is through my own connection, so you can tap into it literally. mm, what came to me was like the feminine, to go through from the divine, from the masculine energy to the more feminine energy, so more receptive, open, trusting. But then if you're not trusting, then it's time to look why you're not trusting, or what's happening right now, how can you get maybe support with that first, how you can release the emotion first, and then open. Yeah, I think that's it. Like I said so much about that. I thought it would be a shorter. Mm, yeah. At some point, it's all about coming back to yourself. All of this, what I just said, it happens on the way. Um, on the way of self connecting. The layers are popping to show you where you are. The more of senses are opening, that you're more in the body, you feel more. You have more boundaries. Like you learn to put the boundaries, you learn to where you are at, why is this happening, where is your inner child. You learn that, and when you are learning that, I guess you're becoming also more empowered, and also this part of the traumas are releasing your body, and then you can tap a bit more for guidance from, again, from this higher perspective, and not from the perspective of the body full of trauma and full of fear or survival, because then it's really harder to be existing from the soul level, and then allow also the soul guidance to come, and also allow yourself to be guided by that. And I'm sure with time you recognize more how the information come to you, because that's also the key, right? Like you feel the tangible, like a small slightest differences of how you feel something coming to you, even from, you can open up to know from which side, or you can also incorporate your body telling you the answers, maybe. Like if something, I at some points that was checking, looking at the timer, I was checking it with my body if something is yes or something is no, or I knew that I could see yes on the right and no on the left. And then first I would be like forcing it, it's this level like, I want to answer, and then slowly, slowly going deeper into my heart and breathing to it, and then clearly, for example, seeing like no. And even though sometimes my body would mask it, because sometimes this was also maybe experience I was more meant to choose. That's what I said in the beginning. But it's definitely like the it comes from the gentle flow. It just comes to, it's just the feeling, it's just the image that will pop maybe gently. It's just knowing, because something comes and you really feel like yes, 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 that's the way, that's it. And then maybe you will have all the fears, but then like you still know you're pulled, you're drawn there. Or you will set intention and you will have very clearly something like a banner or Facebook or a workshop showing up and all this, and you will know it's connected because of the topics or whatever, or you will just see it and you're like, yes, I have to, I need to go there. That's also the great way to to follow it. I'm sure there is way more about that, but I think that's more than enough for now. If you have more of questions, maybe also even more personal, I'm offering right now to do uh, more soul connection message, yeah, and offer this to some people depending on my capacity to share that. And there's a shop, and I'm putting my like logo of the heart reconnection. That's also like this intention of heart reconnection, so that also works. And it's the intention, it's set point, and then the guidance happens through people in life as well. Okay, thank you so much. See you soon.